Morning, everyone. Good morning, bud.
Good morning, guys.
How did you sleep last night?
Good.
All right, ready to get up?
Yeah. Hey, guys. Welcome back to another video. Today, I wanna talk about the people that I know that passed away.
Yeah, Fonte wanted to share all the loved ones that Fonte has met along
All
the
the loved
way.
ones that have passed away
And
in my life.
Yep. So he wants to talk about basically, that we should enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And because life is too short.
Yeah, that's what this video is going to be about.
So do you want to start off by talking about the special people that we have met along this journey and that have passed away?
Other sick people like me or loved ones.
Mm-hmm. So you want to start off by who? With
who? Mason.
Okay. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about Mason. Mason is this adorable, sweet little boy, and he was born with a rare blood disorder called Fanconi anemia. And it is very, very rare for this condition. And so Mason was born with difficulty breathing, difficulty eating, swallowing, things like that. So Mason had a trach in, he had a feeding tube.
Yeah, and his hands were
he had some deformities in his limbs. Yeah. Yeah. One arm was shorter than the other, right?
Yeah, and he was missing some of his fingers.
Yep, I think he only had a thumb, right? In one hand or something. I don't know. Yeah. But Mason was like the cutest little boy.
I mean, I don't know how Mom met them.
We actually met them through a special needs group. It was a special needs group, a Hmong special needs group. And so we met them through that. And so Mason passed away when he was 4 years old.
Yeah, he was 4. He was in the hospital a lot.
Yes, he was in and out of the hospital. Mason was a very sick boy, very, very sick boy. And there were times when we would go visit his parents in the hospital, and they would have been in there for like a month, like Children's Hospital. They would have been in there for like a month. Towards the very end of his life, I think he was just discharged from a month-long admit to the hospital. And when his mom came into his room, I believe he was unconscious, and she called ambulance. They came and they performed CPR for a good 30 minutes. I think they were able to get maybe a minor pulse. They did keep him in the ICU. And I remember when we went to visit his Mason at the hospital and his parents, I remember the nurse coming into the room and shining a light into his eyes. His pupils did not react at all.
I wasn't there.
You were very young, Fonte, at that time, but his pupils weren't reacting to the light at all. So that's usually how you know they're pretty much gone. Like, he was on life support, so his body was still warm, but I think his brain was gone. Because he was out for so long. They were performing CPR. And he was out for so long. And I remember when we left, the doctors were talking to his parents about taking him off life support because he was pretty much gone. And then I did attend Mason's funeral. It was very sad.
Like, he was pretty much brain dead, right?
Yep, pretty much. Like, he was pretty much gone. There was a very light pulse, So, yeah, Mason passed away at age 4. And then
his life was so short.
Yeah, very, very short. He was so sick all the time. And actually the doctors had said, that when they did the ultrasound, they actually found out that Mason was a very, very sick child. Like, he wasn't going to be born normal. They didn't know if he was going to be born, alive. And they did advise that his parents abort, but they chose to have Mason, and then he was just a very, very sick boy the entire 4 years of his short life, and he passed away. So yeah, it was very, very sad. And then who else have you known that have passed, Fonty?
One of my cousins, his name was Sonny. And I think he passed away in like 2018.
Yeah, so he passed away. Sonny passed away when he was in his early 30s. Sonny was born with Down syndrome. And he had heart issues. He had some heart issues. I think he was hospitalized a couple times for his heart, which is very common with kids with Down syndrome. And then he passed away in his early 30s. His parents woke up to find him basically facing down on his bed. And
he was pale.
His heart, he had a heart attack, basically. And that's how Sonny passed away. And Sonny was just this very gentle person, too, so.
Yeah, and a week before he passed away, he came to our house for a party.
Yeah, we had a family gathering. And so you had just seen him, right? Is that
it was
crazy?
a family gathering, and we just saw him.
Isn't that crazy how we just saw him the week before?
Yeah, and he looked completely fine.
I know. It's crazy how we never know, right?
Yeah, and I didn't really go to his funeral because
You did go to his funeral.
did I?
Yes, you did. You attended his funeral.
No, I didn't. Did I?
Or did you not?
It wasn't. You told me that it wasn't wheelchair accessible.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't think you went.
So instead, I recorded a video saying my goodbyes to
Yeah, you said your goodbyes to Sonny.
Yeah, I sent a video because I couldn't go.
Yeah, and this, unfortunately, death is a part of life, right? It's very much a part of life because every person who is born dies, sadly, and death is inevitable.
Yeah, and the next person that passed, another sick person that I know passed away is Isha.
Isha was a sweet little girl.
What condition did she have?
Isha had trisomy 13. So she was also born, the doctors basically gave her a very poor prognosis of maybe living a couple years. Isha surpassed that immensely. I think she lived into her very early teens. I think she was barely 13 when she passed away. And she was also on a trach, a feeding tube. Isha was nonverbal, but she had the most beautiful smile ever. And she passed away shortly after COVID hit the U.S. So we unfortunately did not attend her funeral for Fonty's sake. I didn't want to expose Fonty to anything that could potentially harm Fonty. So at that time, we basically stayed home the entire year.
It was COVID too, so we couldn't go anywhere.
Right. So unfortunately, we didn't get to attend Isha's funeral, sadly.
Yeah, and then 3 years later after, was it 2023 or 2024?
When Addison passed?
Yeah, when Addison passed away.
Addison passed away about a little over a year ago.
Yeah, so 4 years.
Addison passed away at the end of 2023.
So Isha passed
Wait,
away.
was it the end of 2023? Yeah.
2024.
No, it was the end of 2023.
Oh yeah, so what was it, 2 years after Isha passed? Yeah, but Addison is another sick person that I know.
Addison also has Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, he also has Duchenne, and I saw him pass away.
Yep, so Fonty was there. Their family was matched with ours.
Yeah.
When Fonty was first diagnosed, we had requested that we be matched with a family that was similar to us. And so they matched us with Addison. At that time, Fonty was 9 years old, and I think Addison was like 12 or 13. Addison's 3 or 4 years older than you. And so we were matched with their family, and Gillette matched us with them, and we went to meet them at their house. So we've known them for a very long time. And And unfortunately, Addison, towards the very end of Addison's life, his lungs kept collapsing.
Yeah, his lungs collapsed.
It's called pneumothorax. He was in and out of the hospitals. At that point, they couldn't put him under, under anesthesia to perform any type of surgery. So anytime they had to go into the cavity of his lungs.
Yeah, like that to me is scary.
They had to do it while he was awake. And they would just numb the site. But he was in so much pain every time they had to do that. And unfortunately, at the very end, his lungs filled up with fluid. And that's usually how these boys pass away anyway. So it was very sad that morning. His mom called and said...
So when they called us, I wanted to go see him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fonty wanted to say his goodbyes. So we drove to the hospital. His mom called me that morning and said he's not going to make it. He has fluid in his lungs, and the nurse says that he doesn't have very long. So Fonty and I rushed to the hospital, and I think we were there for maybe an hour before Addison passed.
Yeah, he was in so much discomfort.
Yeah. And he passed away.
Yeah, and I was wondering if that could potentially happen to me.
Pneumothorax is
Is it rare for people with
It is very, very rare for boys with Duchenne to have that. So basically, pneumothorax is when your lungs continue to collapse because the air in your lungs leak out into the cavity of where the lungs are.
Yeah.
And so then it compresses the lungs, and then the lung can't expand as you breathe.
Yeah,
And so then they have to actually puncture through into the cavity of your lungs to let the air out, basically, so that your lungs can continue to expand. And so every time he had that, they would have to go, in and do that while he was awake. It was so painful. He was in the hospital, I think the entire year. He was basically in and out of the hospital until the very end. And then he unfortunately passed away. So
yeah, and that was like the first time I've seen someone like die right in front of me.
Especially someone that was close to you too.
Yeah, someone who has the same condition as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also has a brother that has Duchenne.
Yes, so Duchenne they call it's X-linked. So if a mother is a carrier of the condition, she can potentially pass it to multiple sons. And so in Addison's case, his mother had Addison, and then they didn't know that Addison had Duchenne because Duchenne symptoms usually don't appear in like toddlerhood, and so then Addison has a younger brother who also has Duchenne. By the time Addison was diagnosed with Duchenne and tested, then they took his younger brother and they tested him that he also had Duchenne. So he's in the mid stages of the disease. He's still pretty strong.
Yeah, he's like what?
I think he's 19 years old. Yeah. And he's no longer walking, but he's still somewhat able to feed himself. And
yeah, and
like
he can pretty much do, he can use his hands and arms.
Yeah, somewhat. I think I can see that it's weakening quite a bit. Yeah. But he's definitely much more independent than you are, Fonty.
I've also heard that the daughters could be carriers too.
Yeah, so daughters can be carriers, but they don't usually show symptoms of it. It is very, very rare for a girl to have Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Duchenne muscular dystrophy typically affects boys only. And then...
I was talking about like the reproduction, like like how when a mother gives birth to like a son, and then like some of her eggs have like...
Okay, if you're a carrier...
Yeah, explain to me.
It's different. For your case, they call you a genetic mutation. It was a genetic mutation. So basically, I was tested, genetically tested to see if I'm a carrier. And in my case, I am not a carrier.
Yeah,
so
my mom's not.
Yeah, so basically, a subset of my eggs had some type of genetic mutation, and Fonty, unfortunately, was born with Duchenne. There are some mothers who can get themselves tested to see if they are carriers. if the mother is a carrier, she has a higher chance of passing it down to her children,
Her daughters.
where her daughters could be carriers and then have more sons with Duchenne, and then pass that down onto her daughters.
Yeah, that's really sad.
So that can happen, yes. Yeah.
But that's like rare, right?
What? A mother being a carrier
Yeah, then passing it down to her daughters.
It's not rare. It happens.
Like, it's common, or like...
Well, I mean, Duchenne is a rare condition anyway to begin with. But yes, if you're a carrier, you have a really high chance of passing it down. I think it's a 50-50 chance of passing it down to your daughter or your son. To be a carrier, either a carrier or to have the disease.
Yeah, and the last person that passed away was last year, right?
Yeah, 2 months after Addison passed away.
Yeah, my grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah. Then your grandfather passed away at the age of 72. So he was actually still very young.
Yeah, and I think, what kind of health conditions do you have?
Well, your grandpa smoked, so he I didn't think he had 2 heart attacks, some stroke. He had 1 or 2 strokes.
Gallstone.
He has diabetes, so I think they had to amputate a toe.
Yeah, like, didn't he have gallstones too?
Yes. And then because of his strokes, I think that his partial body, like I think his left side or something was not functioning very well. So he was pretty miserable towards the very end anyway. And then he died of a heart attack. So yeah.
Yeah, he passed away at the mall because
at the massage parlor, basically. He was getting a massage. He was just in a lot of pain, and so my brother-in-law took him to the massage place to get a massage because he was just in so much pain. His body was achy.
Yeah, and we didn't think he was gonna pass.
And he just was unresponsive. And by the time they got him to the hospital, called the ambulance, and they started performing CPR. And they got to the hospital, and they basically said he didn't have a pulse, and so he was pronounced dead.
Like, I don't know what happened.
He had a heart attack, buddy. And your grandpa was old, and he had a lot of health issues. He had diabetes, high blood pressure, and all sorts of stuff. And he really didn't take care of his health.
Yeah, and I didn't really get to see him at the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, it happened so quick. We were just rushing to get to the hospital when your grandfather had the emergency.
But at least I was there at the funeral.
Yep, you attended the funeral and the burial, right? So, yeah. So what is this? So what was the point of you wanting to talk about all the people that you've known that have passed away? And you've known so many that have passed away because you've met a lot of sick kids along the way, which is an unfortunate part of life, right?
Yeah, I wanted to miss this year because I want to let the people know that life's too short, and that you should try to be happy even when life gets so hard. So, to everyone that's struggling right now, I would advise you guys to try to enjoy what you have before it's too late,
That's a great message. That's a great message, Beth.
Yeah, and I try my best to be happy.
That's right. Because we only know today, right? We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised for any of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, friends. This was a very long video. This was almost 20 minutes long. Twice as long as our other videos.
Yeah, because,
there was a lot of people to go through. So, yeah, basically there's been a lot of hardships that, Fonte has known, and his own life, and then all the other lives, all the other people that have come into Fonte's life that has passed away.
Yeah, and I know that my time is soon.
Yeah.
Which is why I wanted to make YouTube videos and share my story.
Yeah, that's so brave of you, Fonty. And Fonty, check the numbers of subscribers, and I'm not able to respond to everyone. We've just been so busy.
Yeah, and some of the subscribers went down.
Yeah, it's okay. The numbers will kind of fluctuate,
Yeah.
but hopefully we get up there, right? All right, friends. So we will say goodbye for now.
Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yes, friends. Thank you guys so much for all the positive comments. We still read every single comment, so make sure that you continue to comment and like his videos to keep the YouTube algorithm up. Please help Fonty reach 1,000 subscribers. He would appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I really want 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, friends. Thank you guys so much. I know that everyone is doing everything that they possibly can. You guys are always commenting on his videos and his shorts, and they're so appreciated.
Yeah, I still read the comments to this day.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you in another video.
Yep. Bye, guys. See you
Bye.
later.